Stacey Zinn Roberts, and I'm the host of Live Your Passion. I'm also the author of How to Live Your Passion and Fulfill Your Dreams, available now on Amazon and at select bookstores nationwide. Sorry, I had to put that in there. We have such a great guest today. Christine LaChance is our guest. And after 15 years in the corporate world, she decided to make a major change in her life. And she created this company called Vital Solutions Health and Wellness. What she does is she goes into corporations and helps them set up wellness programs so that their employees stay healthy and that they save money on health insurance costs. It's truly a win-win, and I think it's a model that can be replicated in other places. So I wanted to make sure that Christine would come on and tell us what she's doing, because it's really, really good and could change the way healthcare is done in this country. Wow. Christine LaChance, welcome to Live Your Passion TV.
Hi, Stacey. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. So, where does your passion for health and wellness come from?
Well, I guess the journey started a really long time ago, probably when I was about 18 or 19. And, I felt like I've always kind of struggled in my life with body image and health and wellness, and took a personal decision in my life to take control of that. And it's been a very long journey. Sometimes you are on the wagon, sometimes you're off the wagon, but I really, over the last 15 years, have implemented healthy choices in my life, and through exercise and eating right. And today I sit here and, I'm very happy with who I am and the way I feel about my body and the things I put into it. And I have a very deep passion to share that with individuals so that they understand that it's not about what you look like, it's about how you feel, about who you are and what you put out into the world.
I agree with you completely. So, how did you take your passion for your own personal health and turn it into a business model? How does this work?
Well, what originally started about 3 years ago, I really felt the need to just share my passion with individuals, and that from a very small level in regards to just talking to people and just being out in the community and sharing what I knew from information, and just trying to spread the wealth of information I've accumulated over the years. And we, working for a very large corporation, we had a very large vendor come in and implement a health and wellness program. And it was biometric screenings and health risk assessments and, walk this, do this, go there. But what I found is that the people who really needed it didn't use it. And I don't think that's any fault of the large organizations, because they're in place and they work, but I felt that there might be a better approach, and that is more of a holistic approach. So, doing the science and the analytical, components behind it. I am an industrial engineer by heart and Six Sigma practitioner. So collecting data and finding what works is good from a business planning perspective. But sitting down with employees and really finding out, Stacey, what's going to work for you? What's your idea of health and wellness, and what's going to keep you committed? And Bob, what's going to keep you committed? And maybe taking an 80% idea of, okay, this is what your population says, and these are the best things to implement for you. And what I found is that a lot of senior leadership, they don't know how to implement health and wellness. And a lot of them don't practice it themselves. And you really have to have a very strong leadership program in place that wants this to happen, because it's also part of their succession planning. Identifying, key individuals within your group as your future leadership team is dependent upon them, living a healthy life and, taking ownership over themselves as well. So I feel this is very important for succession planning. And very long answer to your question, but another thing is that our youth is the first generation that is not expected to live longer than the generation before them. And that's extremely a scary statistic. Not guaranteed that, I'm going to die before my mom, just meaning that our average life of our youth is not expected to be longer than their previous generation. And that's a very scary, scary thing. So I do believe that by incorporating a healthy program in your work environment, I would love for these people to take it home and teach their kids, we're responsible for their health. We teach them not to lie. We teach them not to steal. Let's teach them to be healthy and take pride and, ownership over their future from a health perspective.
Okay, you brought up a couple of different things that I want to touch on. First, that statistic is really scary. What you're saying is that lifestyle choices that the generation younger than we are, the
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle choices that they're making is actually shortening their lifespan?
Correct, because I think it's, we live in a world where, we just swing through a drive-through or we shop what I call the inner aisles of the grocery stores. It comes in a box or in a bag. And, this is how we're raising our children. And I have been in that position where I've given my son hot dogs and macaroni and cheese. I just realize now that children have a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is something that is developed. You're not born with it. So it's a preventable disease. It's 100% preventable. And our youth is, it keeps increasing every year. Why is it that, a Gallup poll just showed that the obesity rate is increasing no matter how much awareness is out there and how much information we are being fed? Is it information overload? I'm not sure. I just think that we have to make bite-sized, easy changes in our lives so that we can become healthier. And it is about, everyone wants instant gratification. I just said that. So people don't, you hear it didn't take you, 2 weeks to gain 50 pounds. So don't expect it to take, 2 days to lose it either. But that doesn't change behavior. That's just practical advice. How do we get to the root cause of behavior? So yes, but I think that we are actually, we're crippling our children because they eat what we feed them. We're in charge of their health and well-being. So yeah, because we're just busy moms, or because we're on our way to soccer practice, some of those decisions really are having a negative impact on our children.
Okay.
And because we struggle with those issues ourselves.
Okay, so I understand that from a personal standpoint, but how can a company, what do you do when you go into a company? You said you interview the employees to see what they'll be even open to, but how do you actually implement this in a large company?
Well, really, my target companies are between 50 and I'd say 250 employees. I do believe that from a large standpoint, there is, unless it has true leadership backing, we're going to run into some serious communication barriers. But even in a mid-sized, to larger size company, I really think by, having the leadership support is critical, and letting it being part of their vision statement. It needs to be part of their mission statement, their goals, and it needs to be something that is, you have your leadership team walking around and, they're displaying this life. That's the most important thing. And then second is, when you implement these small programs, it's, a lot of people give you gym memberships, or they find ways for incentives. My approach is I am a yoga person, I'm a gym person, but I don't think that gets people to the gym. The only people who are going to go to the gym are the people who currently work out. So if I go into a manufacturing company and I see that they're moving in a certain way all day long, and I see that they have tension in their shoulders, or they have lower back issues, instead of taking them to a gym where they could possibly get hurt, how about teaching them functional stretching so that you can condition your back for the movements that they do every day, which will result in a reduction in workman's comp claims. Or if you have, employees who sit down at their computers all day and they're hunched over and they have lower back issues, teach them exercises that, elongate those muscles that they're stressing every day. Again, reducing workman comp claims. So I think that it's practical information. It's not just throwing money at a gym or wondering what program's going to stick. It's really looking at the culture and letting the employees devise this program themselves so that they will have pride in it and actually use it.
And this is something that you would implement within the four walls of the corporate building?
Yes. Yes. And, it's also, educating them in resources of nutrition counseling. It's not, eat, your this portion here or that portion there. It's more as, okay, yesterday you heard, oils are good for you, and tomorrow you'll hear they're bad. Really giving them information to make educated decisions. It's all about education. It's not handing them a pamphlet of what they need to eat. It's, helping Stacy take an active role in educating herself so that she can make better decisions. Because, this really is a lifelong process. This isn't about, although saving companies' money is critical, and that's the business I'm in. I really am in the business of changing, lives and behaviors of the company. in its entirety, because I really believe that just like the healthcare system, the health and wellness program has become a symptom management program, and I really believe that health and wellness is a system management. I don't want to treat the problem. I want to find out the root cause, and I want to solve the system issue. What is really happening, and what can we put in place to stop it, rather than saying you have this symptom, let's just fix this part.
This is fascinating, and I really didn't realize that you would go in and examine the culture, talking about how people move on a warehouse floor. It's interesting. Now, you'll do this all over the country? Do you go into companies everywhere, or?
Well, that would definitely be ideal. Right now, I'm looking locally, and just reaching out to my existing network of employers, and things where I feel like I could have a good impact. I want a lot of wins. I really want my goal is to really have change. So I would love to be able to work nationally, but I really I'm very involved in the community, and that's my main goal right now is working in my local community.
And you're in the Florida area?
Yes, ma'am. Tampa Bay area.
Okay.
Very big.
Yes, it is. Okay. So how can, let's say I work in a very small company, less than 10 people, and I really don't have the resources to bring in a consultant like you. What tips would you give to small business owners to try and implement a program that would be effective?
The first thing, and we do, consulting is, what I do from a business planning perspective. Our company also offers a program called Species, which is it's the anagram for the 7 dimensions of wellness. So what I personally believe is wellness defined as the opposite of illness. It's not just physical, and it's not just, about nutrition. It's about being emotionally well, about, financially well, career well. So I created this training program, and it really talks about what are these dimensions and what can you do to improve this. But it also talks about your locus of control. It talks about empathy. It talks about all the things, stress. So it really is a one-day training, and I plan to put this in electronic format as well that you can implement just to invest in your employees and give a little bit boost of morale and really give them a tool. Again, it's all about education, a tool about how to make these changes. But to answer your question, for someone who's not able to implement anything right now, ask your employees what works for you. That's what I plan on doing. I really suggest that anybody who wants to create a good, a company that's healthy and well, and just a nice place to work, a place where people want to work, ask your employees. They'll tell you.
Okay, and what's the Species? It's 7 things. What's the Species?
Right. So Species is it's social wellness, it's physical wellness, it's emotional wellness, it's career wellness, it's intellectual wellness, SPECI, and the other one's spiritual.
Okay. All right, perfect. I like that. I like it a lot.
And that really it's a personal thing for me. So I really believe that it changed my life, and I really want to bring that into the community, change others, and that is definitely something that I can offer nationally.
Outstanding. Okay. All right. Well, as you know, I created the What's Your Avocado concept that says that everyone has something about them that's special. And the key to a happy life is to find that thing, your avocado, and then express it out in the world. So every show, I ask my guests to take me to that avocado moment, your aha moment, Christine, when you realized what you were here to do and how you were here to do it. How are you?
I get goosebumps, Stacey. It's such a good question. And I read your book, and, my avocado moment was, like I said earlier in the interview, 3 years ago, I knew I wanted to do something. And in your book, it was, you sit there and you say, do you want the next 10 years to look like the last? Mm-hmm. And I did not want the next 3 years to look like the last. I, loved what I did, and I loved who I worked for, but I did not want the next 3 years to look like the last. And I really knew that I wasn't getting any younger, and I wasn't changing. I was put on this earth to help people learn to love themselves, but I was also blessed with a gift to be a good, or I was born to be a strategic planner, a business developer. I'm analytical. I have excelled extremely well in those disciplines. And so I have two gifts. One, the passion to help people love themselves, and I have a business mind. And, time wasn't, I just had to take that moment and move. And the opportunity presented itself. There was a change in culture and where I worked. And, there was no time like the present.
So you
So
made
I seized it. I seized the day.
Outstanding. And that's really what it takes, to have an acknowledgement that there's something more, that there's something else, that there's something within the core of you that says, if I don't do this, I'm just going to pop, you know?
Yes, I physically hurt. I physically hurt that I wasn't doing what I knew I was meant to do.
Yeah, I understand that completely. I had the same experience until I figured it out. And I think we all kind of get to that point if you're not doing what you were born to do, because we all have a mission, without a doubt.
Yes.
Then you're not contributing that puzzle piece to the whole human fabric. You've got to do your thing. So you are certainly living your passion. What advice would you give other people to help them do the same?
Well, it's really once you know what you're meant to do on this earth, I am going to advise a systematic approach of business planning and, doing your market analysis research and, being smart about it. You need to have a business plan in place. You need to, ensure your success, and timing is everything. It's a cliche for a reason. And, make sure the timing is right for you, because you certainly don't want to take something that has been given to you and that is a precious gift and set yourself up for failure because the due diligence wasn't in place to ensure the success. And that doesn't guarantee easiness. That doesn't guarantee, lack of struggle. It just ensures that when you look back at that business plan, you still can say, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. No one said it would be easy. And if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
That's true. That's true. The only thing that I would advise, though, is there's a certain personality type who will plan forever and never act.
Amen.
So, although putting together a strategic plan is absolutely critical, and I teach that as well, you have to, at some point, go.
Take the step. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you feel that pressure on your heart, like you're going to explode, move. Move.
Okay. All right. So, Christine, in our final moments, give me and our audience the best way to contact you. Your email address. Where would you like people to contact?
You can reach us at info at Vital Solutions Health and Wellness, but it's just hw.com.
Okay. So vitalsolutionshw.com, and that will be on your dedicated page on our Live Your Passion TV website.
Okay,
also, any other methodologies? You gave us info at, and you've got to give us the email and the URL. Okay.
Yes.
I think we did great.
Thank you.
Okay, Christine, thank you so much for joining me, and I would invite you all to visit liveyourpassiontv.com. Christine will have a dedicated page there where you can learn more about her and get a direct link to her website. I also want to invite you to take a look at how to live your passion and fulfill your dreams. A lot of the concepts that we talk about in this TV show are covered in this book. It's available on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, IndieBound.org, and at select bookstores nationwide. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm Stacy Zinn Roberts. Bye.